everyone. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today happens to be the very final episode of the first season of Being Phenomenal, and you all have been incredible. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe and share this link with your family and friends. On the previous episode of Being Phenomenal, we had Elaine, who started to tell us about her journey to Christ, and it's just a story that we felt we didn't have to rush through. We wanted to take our time to just get all the bits and pieces together so that everyone out there can be blessed. I don't know which part of the story is going to bless you, which part of it you're going to really resonate with, and so we decided to do a part A and part B of this conversation, and this happens to be the part B. Thank you once again for coming on Being Phenomenal. For those who haven't watched the previous episode, I'd like you to just briefly introduce yourself once again for them.
Alright, my name is Elaine. I am a sister, I am a mother, and I'm a wife. I'm a woman of God, strongly favored and blessed. I am really honored to be on your Phenomenal Woman today.
Thank you for coming once again and being so open about your life journey and life story. We just want us to pick up from where we ended the previous episode. So we got to the point where you were discharged from the hospital, you came back home, you had to travel outside of Cameroon to further seek medical help, because when you were discharged from the hospital, it was more like, let's just take care home and let's just wait and see what happens. But like you said yesterday, you were in survival mode. You were like, I'm not dying, I have to get through this. So let's just move from when you had to travel outside of Cameroon.
Yeah. So I did tell you that I was on some medication that needed to help me with my memory and also to keep my brain from swelling. And my mom, that was running out. I think I had just two doses left, or 2 days left, and my mom was on the hunt in town looking for that medication. So she came across this pharmacist who told her, that's a strong medication, what are you doing with that? And she told the story of her daughter, and he advised her that if she had any way to send her daughter to India, that's a good place to start. That's a good place to try. And so he also put her in contact with a medical tourist in India.
Okay.
A medical tourist agent in India. Mr. Agawa. Bless my life, that man. So she got in touch with him, and he immediately asked for any of the documents that we had from our doctor, and he asked that we explain what I was going through, and zip zap, about 10 days later I was in India.
Okay, that was fast.
Yes, 10 days later I was arriving at the airport in India. He was there to pick us up, set us up really quickly. The moment I got to the hospital, it was from airport straight to hospital with my mom, and the moment I got to the hospital, the doctors came through, asked me a few questions. I don't remember most of that, and less than 48 hours after numerous MRIs, numerous scans, poking and pinching left and right, I had my first set of surgery. Before going into surgery, they give us a lot of documents to sign. Like, this may not work.
Yeah.
You may not come back.
Let's just cover our backs.
This is the percentage of the risk in here that this will work. I was looking at something less than 15% that it will work.
You don't say.
And there was a lot of things in there to sign, and my mom, she said, do this one, don't do that one. Do this one, don't do that one. I was like, no, I'm going to go the whole way. I don't intend to, if I can try, I'll try. Now, my mother was not, she knows God, like I said. she's a Christian in the material sense of it, like Christian, you belong to that religion. Yes. But not at that time. She wasn't essentially knowing who she was talking to when she prays. But she just spoke to him. You see, that's the amazing thing about God.
Yeah.
He doesn't stop being God just because you don't know that He is God.
Exactly. Yeah.
He doesn't. The fact that you are not aware doesn't negate that He is God.
Yes.
Yes, the fact that you are not aware that He loves you doesn't prevent that love from coming in, from having its impact.
Yeah.
Yes. But then again, you can only take what you know is there, right?
Yeah.
So there are some things that fall on us, but there are some things that you have to go and collect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like what you mentioned previously, that sometimes you're blind and so you're not even sure what you're even missing. But once the scales fall off your eyes and you know that this is what I have to miss, this is what I have to take, then you can rightfully claim what happens to yours.
So I had the first surgery which was a CSF rhinorrhea surgery to seal the part of my brain that was causing a leak. So there was I don't know the detailed way to explain this scientifically. Of course, nobody needs all that.
You still remember all this?
Oh, I tell you, I remember all of that because of the amazing work that God did in the hands of those doctors, those surgeons. Yes, they clarified to me. They asked me how much I want to know, and I told them I want to know everything. If possible, show me the pictures of what you did to me. Show me the videos. Show me what you're going to do, and when you do it, show me how you did it. And so they did their best to be as descriptive as they can. So the first set of surgeries involved taking some bone from my thigh, so they had to slice that little place open, and I still feel the emptiness over there, but don't worry about emptiness, the Lord has filled me up. So they had to take some bone and some flesh also from there. I had to pick up stuff from there, and they did. I don't know how they reconstructed that, but that was to reconstruct these bones here that were damaged and to fill up under my eye. So basically, with the accident, the impact of the accident was not just the crack and the fractures on my skull, but the bones behind my nose were all shattered. And like even when I breathe, I feel the temperature of the air I'm breathing on this side of the inside of my face.
Till date.
Yeah, right now. Oh, till date, yes. Till date, I have been changed. I have been changed from the inside out. I promise you. But certain things become normal. It's become so normal that I have to bring myself to the consciousness of feeling it.
Oh, right.
You know, this side of my face is at least 80% numb. Like I really don't feel much over there. And the places where I feel stuff, like if I touch myself here, I feel it, the whole back of my head. I feel it touch my shoulders. I'm very sensitive on this side.
There's a lot of nerves going on.
There's a lot of nerve magic going on this side of my body. So I would not feel something, like I wouldn't feel this, but I would feel a lot of this. So if someone's braiding my hair, when you're on this side, I'm like, gets over with. Yes. So the CSF surgery was done, fixing up the leaking on the brain, and the bone was taken off from there to rebuild that. Also, with the destruction of the bones on this side, my eyeball went back into the head. It sank into the head a lot, and that was my testimony right there. Because if these bones didn't break properly, my eyeball will not fall in. It would be outside enough to get destroyed by the accident. So I've always had rather poor sight, but this side of my eye right now, due to the accident, doesn't see as clearly as this side because there is a scratch on it. But the impact just scratched it enough to not cut that eye. And so when I was still in Cameroon, the whole time I was in Cameroon, the accident did in such a way that I was seeing two. This eye had its own vision, and this eye had its own vision. So if I'm looking at you, I'm gonna have to see two people. So we were supposed to perform a surgery in Cameroon that was supposed to correct that. We had this doctor that came in and looked at me, asked me what happened to me. I'm like, girl, what's wrong with you? And then told me, okay, I'm gonna operate you. And the next day I was put on on the gurney and taken into the theater. And I waited first of all the next day for operation, when the lady had told me they were going to have operation, I think at 2 p.m. a surgery at 2 p.m. and nobody came to take me for surgery. And I was like, I was so stressed up about it. I was so angry. I was so hurt. That was when anger began to build up in me. Anger began to build up in me so strongly from that moment when I thought that they had forgotten that they had to do a surgery on me. And I cried and I asked my mom and dad, what's going on? Why nobody came to take me? When are they coming to take me? And they kept on saying, very soon, very soon. And the day went by. But while I was waiting, God was working. While I was waiting, God was delaying something. God was pushing something out of the way. Because the lady who was supposed to perform the surgery got interrupted by a different doctor who said, what are you trying to operate on that eye? They don't operate that thing. She has to use her brain to bring her eyes back together. If you touch that eye, it will never work again. So they were in the conversation of, I'm an ophthalmologist or I'm an eye surgeon and I know what I'm doing, but you are not an eye surgeon and you're telling me that I cannot do it.
Yeah.
I must do it. Yeah. And the other doctor is like, no, you should not do it. And so maybe some hospital politics happening in the background. I don't want to go into the detail of, how some of our hospitals or some of our systems are back at home, where someone may not be really qualified for the job, but they have been given the knife and the yam, Yeah. And so that day happened to pass. When I went finally into surgery, she didn't come to do the surgery. When they finally took me to the theater, she didn't come to do the surgery. Some other person actually tore me over here because these bones were shattered, so it was quite swollen. So some other person actually, it's that thing.
Oh
yeah, had to like they cut me over here. I don't know what they were trying to do, but they didn't do anything. So I came out of surgery with a small cut, and then they stitched the cut back, and they were like, "You need to take her home."
Okay, so back after your first surgery in India, what happened after that? How long did it take you for you to be discharged, and how was your stay in India?
After the first surgery, my memories are distorted. Yes. So, and I went into surgery 3 times during that little period after arriving in India. Everything was tested and I came out really good. And I think a month later, the doctor said, okay, we can go back to the hotel and simply be coming when he needs us. We'll still be getting help at the hotel. So yes, about a month after that, I was discharged and sent to the house. We have from October until February, when the doctor asked me to come and remove the cast. And I was going to have to go back to Cameroon, visit him again, maybe 3 months later for a checkup. When the whole time in India, during the first visit for the first surgery, I just wanted to get well. I wanted to have a memory that I can use to impact the world. I wanted to be able to remember things enough so that people can. That was one of my intellectual goals. If I have a memory, people will trust what I'm saying. I'm not going to be an empty inspiration. I'm going to be able to actually structure what I'm using to change anybody's life, because I wanted to stay alive to change another person's life. Yeah. I felt like most of my dreams of education, of being a businesswoman, being a corporate leader, all of those dreams were dead, but somehow I can still impact someone's life. I just wanted to stay alive for that. So I was focused in India on getting well materially, physically, and I did. When I came out, when the doctor removed the bandage, the cast from my head, that first time, he was happy. Right. When your doctor is happy, He was like, when your mother was in this hospital, she was praying to a particular God with the cross. Because he told me your mother was praying to a particular God, let her keep praying to that God. That what has happened here, we haven't seen it before.
Right.
Let her keep praying. So I got well. I got I felt like I had to settle to a particular place of okay, my face is going to be numb, this is going to be like that, this one is going to feel like this, I'm going to always have headaches, I'm going to always have to take drugs and medication for stuff. And I felt like I had to settle with that. But what I came out with in terms of physical healing was more than I expected. It was more than I had even cared to ask for. And talk about God and He will give you more. But then, when I was physically, the heart of man is a funny one. When you feed it, it gets hungry for more. When I was physically satisfied that, okay, I even look beautiful now, I can even wear lipstick, I can even do eyebrows, you know.
So many things we would take
yes.
for granted on a normal
and
day.
If you notice in a lot of the time, like the scar goes through my eyebrow, so it gives me a little bit of a divided eyebrow. But I came out really satisfied with that, and it awakened me. I felt like when I get healed from the hospital, everything will go back to normal and I will be fine. But my parents observed that something else was going on before I even observed it in me. I had become so bitter. I had become so angry.
Did you know what you were so angry about?
For a long time I did not know. Yeah, for a long time I did not know. Every time I talk about it, I cry. But I used to cry from a place of pain. Like, this is not fair. Like, I used to cry from a place of saying, God, you could have found me another way. You could have found me. You are God. So there were so many ways to find me. But you chose this way. You chose to do this to a person. But then, yeah. But then, honestly, if to anybody who's watching this, and to you, this is joy. Because it's only me and God that know where He took me from. He's the only one that can truly tell another person where He collected me. Like, the distance, the traction, He's the only one. Yeah. So my father, when we were together in the car or anything with anybody in the street, he would always tell me, please act as if you didn't see that. Please just calm down. And at first I would be like, what you mean just calm down? What you mean act as if I didn't see that? Why are you telling me that? Am I crazy? So that was adding some more anger. So yes, I was very bitter. I was very angry. I didn't know that I had become very angry. So it was, at the beginning, it was hard for me to deal with it at all because I was not aware that it was there, you know. And so I was, my parents, especially my dad and my mom has been very, very patient with me healing. She's been very patient with telling me it's okay to go at your pace. It's okay if something is still eating you up. Yeah. Yes. But I was able to see and feel more what my father was going through. And I feel a need to help him get through it. So I wanted to push him outside of my pain. So he was excited to see, okay, you're doing fine. Your face is, you're beautiful. Not that he ever felt like I was not beautiful, but he was like, this is what you wanted. You're doing fine right now. You're beginning to talk and everything. Everything's fine. Oh, after the surgery also, I could not really open my mouth. Like, first of all, I could not get a finger into my mouth because of the bone thing. And I had to practice and struggle with some tools that I was given to keep on opening my mouth until finally a whole 3 fingers could get into my mouth and then a whole hand could get into. Yes, so he was very 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 delicate about what happened to me. So I wanted to push him out of it. So he pressured me to feel fine.
Right.
And it pushed more anger into me.
Right.
When we are with people and he says, oh, she's fine, she's 100% healed right now, everything is fine, and I'm like, oh, that's a pincher, that's making me angry. Because I'm not fine.
Yeah.
It looks fine, outside here is fine, but now I have a real problem. I have a problem that it seems to be someone can fix. Because doctors fix things they see and they can understand and they can touch, you know.
Yeah.
But
there's
something
tangible
else
that is going on.
My father sent me on vacations. He said, you want to go there, go. He sent me on vacation. He gave me everything I could ask for and what I didn't ask. He just did everything he could do material possible to pour happiness on me. And like a cigarette, it still gets finished. And so I had to go back to seeing my doctor for checkups, conversations, and it was going to be expensive to keep going back and forth Cameroon, India. So I decided instead of pursuing school in France where I had applied, or just going to continue my studies in India. So that's how I signed up to study in India. And I went back to study in India by myself. I had lost, without knowing, the entire concept, the idea. I had lost connection to the imagination of friendship because I did not know how friendship disappeared for me. I just woke up on this day, I don't know when that was, and discovered, oh, I don't have friends. But to the best of my imagination, I've not always been like this. I have had friends. Wherever all of you guys went to, I'm not about to discuss that right now. So there were so many emotions, feelings, things in life, like friendship, like trust, like confidence, like loyalty, which I feel, not that it had been taken out of me, but I feel like I had been taken out of that place.
Right.
I would feel anger physically take over me for anything. I would feel from my legs, I would feel it rise up, and at some point I would get desperate, and I would sometimes want to say, God, if you're there, hold me now, this thing can kill me, I can die right now of anger. I will break out. I don't know if this thing reach up in here, I do not know where it will go to. What will happen to me? Will I pass out? I would be so angry for anything, and everything was very deep for me. So when it came to school, it seems to be the accident made me a little bit more intelligent because I just needed to read like the day before the exam.
Oh, right. And that was also before?
Well, I'm smart. We are on live show. I'm a smart girl. But I have not had to struggle too much to pass an exam. Yes. So, well, I was talking about the exams to say I didn't focus on school. I did a good job painting a picture to anybody who cared about me being in school, to tell them that, well, I'm fine. I'm doing well in school. But I turned to other things to feel that holding me. Because what I've been trying to say this whole time is I was angry, I was bitter, I was tired, I was alone and lonely, and alone and lonely. And I did not want anybody. I wanted everything and nothing. I was dysfunctional.
That's a big woman.
Yes. So I turned to drugs, I turned to smoking, I turned to drinking, I turned to anything that could fill me up. So if I was sitting in the classroom, I'm like, this man needs to use the wrong accent 2 more times. This man just needs to put out the wrong opinion here, and I am leaving the class. And that was the only thing I could think about doing. I would have temporary flings and friendships with anybody. If I meet someone, if I go to drink or I go to, because I would not need to go somewhere with someone because I did not believe in all that. Like, I hated the thought of someone trying to say hello to me. Like, what on earth? You are just another monster. It's just that you don't know. I was irritated by all that. I was disgusted by all of it. So I would take myself out by myself. My father did a good job making all of my financial needs more than available. So spoil myself by myself. I was never afraid to step out by myself and have something to drink, a lot of things to drink, and a lot of things to put in my body and all of that. So yes, if you name it, I did it.
Oh.
Let's get the story short. On the first day of school, we had orientation. Orientation began with signing. We had to sign in as international students and then go for the orientation in the hall. I was there very early before time. I stood there outside of the building just waiting, leaning on the car and waiting. And this man, Afghani, he walked up to me and said hello. And I looked at him and said hi. And he had a mustache. Now I was damaged, as you know, with all kind of stereotypes and all kind of enmity in my head. So I was like, with all your mustache, you're probably trying to steal me and go and kill me.
All right.
And so he asked me where I'm from and everything. I answered in the most irritating of ways. Irritated of ways. And so I kept my distance. I just kept my way, but that was the first time I spoke to him. And he asked me what I'm doing here. I said I came for my orientation. But then I was really rude. I was rude by nature, normally, but I was intentionally rude. And because of what I felt that I had been through or that I was going through, I wanted to give the worst that was in me to anybody that came to me, so that they would have no reason to try harder. Went to registration part. I met this girl. I stood there in the queue trying to register myself as a business student. She was in physiotherapy in the wrong building. Her building is at least, because it's a big campus, her building is at least 20 hectares of land away.
Oh.
Anointing walked up to me and said hello, and I was like, another monster.
Oh.
And asked me my name, and she said her name was Anointing. What am I doing here? You know, she was very positive about approaching me, and I was as negative, I guess, as I could come up with. But she didn't take it badly. She didn't take any offense. She was so gentle. So for the first time in a good long while, when we greeted each other, she asked for my number, so I gave her my number. At that time, I knew I was going to change the number anyway, so I had no problems giving it to her.
Oh.
Yes. So I gave her the number, and I took her number as well. I didn't save it. I just dialed it into the phone. Then we separated. Somewhere up the queue, she was told that she's in the wrong building, that she has to go somewhere else. So you know God didn't come to play.
Yeah.
So I think about 3 days passed, and the need to talk to Anointing came. I felt a little bit like, well, it would be, if I see this girl, I would like to say hello to her, you know. And there was a small softness that came, that a small need of something that, well, it would. I think this girl felt bad because I was really rough to her. I told her, like, can you stop talking to me already? You know. And classes started. I saw that same Afghani guy. His name is, I wouldn't say his name, but I saw him again. And we said hello. So I had one person already that I was talking to, which was this Afghani guy. And then I had a second person that I would like to talk to again.
That's good.
Now, after classes or during the break time, he would take me to have lunch. He would take me to sit down somewhere. I would tell him, okay, I want to go up to this particular place that I have learned about, which is called Alibaba, where you go in to have a good smoke, and he would take me there. So gently we got to know each other and like each other a lot. But I was very clear about the fact that this is me using you. You're spending good money, you're taking me where I need to get taken, you're not asking questions, you're exactly the way I like. You're not asking questions, you're not trying
to get to know me.
You're not trying to be caring, you are just providing. It's a good thing. You know, and when I was in a place like Alibaba or was coming out, one of the things I was very delicate about was, well, if I come in here and I get high, I come in here, sometimes when I leave, I do not remember how I got home. So, somebody can rape me, someone can kill me, nobody will know that I have disappeared because nobody knows me. Nobody will even care. So when this guy was always with me, let's call him James, when he was with me, I felt a sense of, and he was also very respected. He had a presence and a power with his money and where he came from and his history. People respected him in society. So it's like I came in and someone who is respected in society I found favor in his eyes. So I was protected. So I knew nobody would touch me. And sometimes when I would step out there and I feel like, okay, I'm really knocked out right now and I'm at the place where fear has power right now because I didn't have any amount of fear. I would call him and tell him, look, I don't know where I am. Just come to any of those places that you know I used to go to. Sorry if you find me, you'll find me.
Right.
Yeah. So there were times when Mr. James will go to this place and that place and that place and drive around until he finds you.
Okay.
He will take me to his house.
What's your policy number?
A very interesting thing was all this time, he would never try to violate me. He would never ask me, why are you doing this? What are you doing?
Sir,
let's backtrack a little bit to being in the hostel.
I didn't hear what you said.
Anointing
So
finally was moving to the hostel. After having her own troubles in her life, she had to move to the hostel. There was no room available in the hostel. I was in my room by myself while other girls used to share rooms. But I chose to have a room by myself. The warden of the hostel came and asked me to receive her in my room just for a few days before hers get ready. I said no, she better use the hallway. So I said no. So they had to put her in a room with 2 other girls.
Right.
3 of them in there. But when I opened the door and I noticed that she was the one, I was like, yo, I know you. She was like, yeah. She was very close, like, okay, so you could just come into Elaine's room and all of that. I was like, no, I know you, but no. You can have food, I can give you a blanket, I can give you water, I give you the keys to this room, you can come and pick what you need, but you can't sleep in here and you can't sit down. So when Anointing came to my room, I refused that she cannot sleep in there. She has to sleep somewhere else, but I'm willing to give her to meet basic needs. If you need to eat or all of that, you can come over here, but I did not as much as want her to sit on my bed or my chair. I was really on the end of crazy. So she didn't mind. So she came into the room. It was this bad. I would put a cloth or something for her to sit on the floor. And she came into my room and she'll be there on the floor and we really hit it off and we would talk a lot. But there was a part of me that was very conscious that do not fall for this. Don't let this get to you. This is nothing. You've had this kind of conversations before and the one time where you needed human beings to be there for you, they were not. Don't deceive yourself. So after class, after school, she would always come back to my room and we would spend time. Sometimes she would leave from her faculty, was so far away, and come over to my faculty to look for me and for us to go back to the hostel together. So we really hit it off nicely there. But then, like I said, I did not want I didn't want it to go more than the human need for presence of another human being because I wanted just enough of that. Sunday came and she said, let's go to church. I was like, are you mad?
We're not there yet.
Like,
What do you mean we're going there?
where is this from? So she would go out to church. And so time passed like that. I began to invite her, to take her out as well to the places I was going to, and she would refuse initially, but she started coming with me, but she would not involve herself in it. She would tell me, I'm here because you want me to be here. I'm not part of this. So she would watch me, and she would have some mocktail, probably down something really hard, and then she would take me back to the hostel. As time passed, she asked me, what happened to you? Why are you angry all the time? What has made you to be so terrible? Because you're terrible. And so I shared with her what happened to me. And I told her, I shared it from a different place I was sharing. I was sharing from a place of anger and feeling myself as a survivor. I was like, I've been through thick and thin. Where I have been, I will not wish it on anyone. But I have survived.
It's not,
and
so
I'm different now.
It's not,
I am very, very happy.
you should be
That's
fine.
what I would say, and that's what I thought. Like, I'm happy the way I am. Anger is the new me, bitterness is the new me, pain is the new me, and I'm the best at it.
Have you
And so, on some Sundays, when she wants to go, because I would always refuse, she would decide to stay with me, and she would hold my hand and pray, and she would pray.
It's,
I was like, "Jeez, I can't get this over with." At the same time, this guy had become my boyfriend. I was crazy about him because of just all the protection I was having, all the provision I was having, and yes, he was an amazing person to me. And this day, I go to. There had been a time when he asked me, don't you think it's about time for you to stop what you're doing?
Okay, that's fine.
To stop drinking, to stop smoking. I do not believe there was someone who could intoxicate themselves. He didn't believe that someone could go this far. And he would ask me, but how do you know if someone has not raped you before? How do you know? Do you know they can kill you? They're killing girls in the street. They're raping people. And you black women, you're a proper victim. And I'll be like, I don't want to have this conversation. So on this day, I went out and I really, really knocked myself out. And I did not know where I was or anything like that. He was randomly passing when he found me.
It's just funny how God, it's not funny, it's actually amazing how God puts people
Yes.
at certain places
Precision.
that you met them.
Yes. I could have started my time in the university surrounded by different people, surrounded by someone maybe who didn't mind me smoking and drinking and taking drugs,
Yeah,
who
you could
didn't
have
mind
found your
all
own
that.
kind at that time.
I could have found my own kind.
So you just let them know.
But I was the kind of Jesus, and Jesus said, well, I'll put you in the right place. You know,
and that you like to set up your
I could have been with people who would properly push me further down the
Yeah.
But then he put these people. On this day, I don't know where I was. I don't remember much about it, because if you have ever drunk or intoxicated yourself in any way before, you will know that Vegas happened in your head and you used to forget it.
No, that's it.
And so he picked me up, took me back to his house. It took, I think, like 3 days for me to get back to my senses, and those 3 days landed on Sunday. And he told me, look, I don't know, he's a Muslim, so he told me, we don't used to deal with this kind of thing, but I'm sure that the people of the church have a solution for you. Whatever is eating you, I don't want this relationship anymore. I cannot do it. You will die on my hands one day. So please go. I'm going to drop you at church. After church, you will go back to your hostel. So I went to church. First day in church, they sang this song, I Want to Sit at Your Feet. The More I Seek You by Carrie Jovi touched my heart, you're sure. Every time I listen to that song, I'm like, this is where it happened for me. It takes me right back. So I loved it. After the worship time, I really loved the worship. After it, I left the church. I was that first time in church. Whenever I had to go back to see anointing, because a few days, a lot of things are distorted, honestly. But a few days or weeks after that, I was coming back to the hostel in the night, and they told me you can't come in. Like we are driving you from the hostel. So I was removed. What they call that? I was expelled from the hostel. Yes. They gave me my letter that as of tomorrow, you need to remove your property from here, but expelled. So I had to tell my father that I decided to move on. I got expelled from the hostel, but I would still go back there to visit. And on Sundays, I would go back. I would go there on Saturday in the evening and spend the night with my friend anointing, and then on Sunday we would go to church together, but right after worship, because that's all I was enjoying and going to leave. I was still intoxicating myself like that. I was still very angry, very, very angry. Sometimes I would sit to think, and I had had exposure to God in church. So I sit to think, I'm like, okay, you're actually God, you're actually there. Why did you do this? What was the reason? Everybody seems happy. My family has never been more united since they have never been this united before. Everybody who knows or hears what happened to me, even people who see me, who saw me after the accident, and who look at me now, it changes their heart. People are happy. People are recognizing that they don't need to be playing in this life. But what's in it for me? Did you just use me like a tool? Then why didn't you end me at all? Because everybody has benefited except me. I'm on drugs. I'm a worse person now than before. So, what's happening? Is it true that the devil can really take over someone and be in control? And why did you choose to hand me to him? So I had all of these questions. I had nobody to be angry with, because I feel like if I even saw the person who attacked me, I would not be angry with him. If someone attacked me. I feel like if I know the real thing that happened, I'm not sure I will have anger towards them, because I believe that they were under the control of something, a superior power. And even at that time, for me, superior power belongs to God who does good things. Yeah. So in your goodness, you handed me over. Yeah. All these conversations were happening in my head. I felt cheated. I felt discriminated against. I felt like you have decided to use me as an example of a devil. Yeah. You want to show the world that Satan is existing. And I got to a point where I was ready to be the worst. I wanted to try everything. I wanted to try, if someone just wanted to experiment something bad,
just use me.
So I say it now with a lot of life. I'm able to really express it, but at that time I spent a lot of time alone, because if I wanted to go for some fun, I wasn't going to go for some fun with someone, then it wasn't going to be fun. I was able to throw a whole party for myself by myself.
One party.
Yes. And I was able to spend 3 days crying, like non-stop. And I would feel my head get so big, and I will panic, and I'm like, this kind of headache I'm feeling right now, I don't have any drugs for it. I was on very strong medication for painkillers, very strong medication, and if you take a lot of that, you're just going to go the other way. So it was a really, really terrible position to be in, and I didn't understand much of it. I just could feel what I was feeling. And the one word for what I was feeling was empty. I was feeling very empty. I was feeling as if either something had been taken from me or had been removed from something. Void, you know. I step out again another day and go and intoxicate myself, and then I call this boyfriend in question to pick me up, and when he picks me up, he tells me got me all cleaned up, I was fine the next day. I stayed with him, everything was fine. And on Sunday when he took me to church, his number didn't go through again. He didn't even let me into his house. He was like, It's over. You cannot continue this. Yes, you can't. So I was by myself. He had already put me in the house. I had my own apartment that he had put me into. He had taken good care of all of my needs. But I was truly by myself. Also, my friend Anointing had fallen in love. So she did not have much time for me. So I was really by myself, and in this season I keep going to church on Sundays, and then I meet this other guy who's playing the drums in church. After church, he played the drums so passionately, and being the person that I am, if I like something, I go to look for it. So I went and I do those drums. And so we hit it off. Just like that. Yeah. He was also a nice person who was experiencing a pain of his own. For me, that was solace. He asked me to that he was going to come and pick me up. Let's go maybe for a movie or maybe have something to drink. And I would say no, but I'm going to be at Alibaba at this time if you want to come. But he was not about that smoking, drinking, intoxicating life. No, he was a little bit different, but he had his reasons. He had also been like that before, and he had a pain in his heart, and he was being loyal to that pain. So after after having a date so many times and he did not come to pick me up, one day we meet on the school campus and he says, okay, let's go out now. And I'm like, no. He says, I have a brother who has cancer. That's the reason I'm not picking you up. My brother comes up with crisis every now and then. But let's go right now. I can show you my brother. I'm like, okay, let's go and see your brother. And I was so sure that he didn't have a brother. He was just lying. But I was like, even if you're lying and you just want to take me to your house, I'm in. When we went there, his brother was dying of cancer, and his brother was someone that I had seen before in the hospital. Someone that I had known before while I was here.
How all this comes together is just amazing.
So I connected to that. I could see where his pain was coming from, and I could see the pain of the brother. And cancer is a whole different ball game, but the person is suffering as well, and the person just wants to get well as well. So I found someone that I could care for. I found someone that needed more attention than I did. So I poured myself in there. Long story short, I dated this guy. We were together. I was now coming to church faithfully, but really not connecting so much, just loving the worship, enjoying seeing him being so passionate on the drums. And then his brother finally died in our hands. And for me, when his brother died, it was like a relief. Okay, we are not suffering from your suffering anymore. But for me, it was like my one thing that I cared about has been taken away. I cared about you. You were just supposed to be sick. Let me be caring for you. You were not supposed to die. And I feel like even if he got well, it would have been the same thing. The thing that I was caring for was taken away from me. Yeah. Emptiness again. His brother passed on. I was very, I felt cheated once again. And during the time when I was dating him and taking care of his brother and taking care of him, I felt occupied by something, by some other person's pain. So it's like mine went to sleep, I was still very angry and very bitter and very selfish, but I had something to give to, someone to give to, and I poured my all in there. And then he passed on, and so his brother finally had to leave the country. Like, his mission here was to care for his brother, and his brother died. So he's leaving. So he left, and before leaving, he told me that was the first time since we got together that he addressed the fact that I had a problem. That was the very first time. He told me, I know you're suffering from something, and you are a lonely person, and that hit hard. And he told me, join the choir. You sing nicely, so join the choir. There are nice people in there. They'll take care of you. I don't want you to be alone. And then he traveled. This thing he said to me there, like, before we take off for the airport. And he traveled. And so I went in there, joined the choir, and in one of the first days in the choir, they wrote that we made a prayer board to write on it our prayer request, and when your prayer request is answered, you erase it.
Oh.
So I wrote that I want to know God more. I want to grow spiritually. there in the choir also, I had made them know that I was looking for a housemate because I didn't want to keep. When it's time for me to start paying my rent, I'm not ready to spend that kind of money. So I need someone to split the bills. I was about to announce in church, and someone in the choir told me that no, she's looking for a house as well. So she came, checked out the house. I gave her all my rules. I don't want men in the house. I don't want drinking in the house or smoking. I gave her all the things I was doing, though I don't want to see it. I don't want late nights, none of that. And I also don't want to ever see you in my room or in my bathroom. Like,
let's just live like
yes, like you are here, you own it, you own that room. Period. So when she was going back, she chatted with her own friends, and she was like, I can't move into that house with that girl. That girl is terrible. I can't move in there. But her boyfriend also told her, just go. It's okay. She may not be a devil after all. And you need a house to stay, so just go there. And if she's terrible, you can help her. That was the conversation that she let me know later on, that she was not about to move in here. So she moved into the house. And she insisted her own condition was that we are going to pray together in this house. I was like, if we're going to pray together, that means I have to be in the house at 9 o'clock. How? And she sleep early. And if we're going to pray together, I have to be in the correct state of mind. This is going to be hard. So because, so when I had moved, when I had separated from all these boyfriends, when boyfriend left and went to his country, I didn't date anybody again. I was just really focused on just my lonely self, on being angry. I didn't even go out. I brought all the drinks and every drug I could find home. Convenience. Yes, it was happening in there. So when she came, and especially because I had joined the choir, I did not want anybody to know. I didn't want her to sense that this is what happens in this house. So I tried to keep it on the low. Tried to do it in the hiding, but it was very hard. So I started to share with her gently. And in one of these evenings, it was the 3rd of December, 2016, we were praying. She shared the word of God, and we had some prayer, and we sang.
You put in your first name, last name, and postal code.
Somehow, I really just broke down. Because while in the house there, as my housemate, I got closer to her. We started sharing a lot. I discovered that she was not a bad person. She was a good person. She had good intentions. She was very naive and genuine, you know. And so I would share some things with her. Sometimes I would give her advice from a place of pain, from a place of bad experiences. So I would tell her, you don't need to be going out giving your heart and trusting people like that. I would give her all kind of funny advice. And so she got exposed to the fact that there was a very big empty darkness in me.
Okay, so you can't get past the first step.
Also, staying with her made me to reduce the rate at which and the intensity with which I was intoxicating myself. Because again, there was the hypocrisy. I had to appear perfect in front of other people. I had to appear good outside, in the church especially, so that they should not know, because they knew me outside. This is a wild girl. And then I started coming to church, and all of a sudden I started singing on the altar. I had to keep up the picture. So it really reduced what I was doing. But I was missing it. The desire was there. Sometimes I would travel to another town just to go knock myself out. But she was aware. She saw that I was struggling in a lot of places, and I shared what had happened to me. And every time I would try to share, I would really break down with anger. I asked her this day during prayer that it seems to be God used to listen to you. Can you tell me I'm not finding anything funny? Why me? I'm so angry. I don't want it anymore. So she prayed with me. This, like the whole process, there was like maybe 3 days or something like that before I actually gave my life to Christ, where she was praying with me constantly in the evening and always soothing me and telling me, do you know what, everything will be fine. You're just going to have to release and know that everything will be fine. She just kept on telling me that release, let it go, just calm down and know that things are going to be fine for you gently. But it was building up. It was really, really just building up. I sat there this evening and cried my head out. Because in this time when she was soothing me, when I go to the room, I would be very sure that I don't want this anymore.
Sorry.
I don't want the
Sorry, can you
feeling.
say that again?
I want to get out of it. If you understand where I'm going,
Yeah.
I want to get out of it. I've been healed physically, yes.
Okay.
My family is no longer suffering because of me. Everybody is now back. They are happy now.
Okay.
I'm the only person suffering, and apparently nobody knows, nobody can see it, nobody can understand it. This is just me.
John,
I need to get out of here.
1949.
So terrible thoughts of how to get out of here began to cross my mind. I have to find. I think it's about time to close this door because I think my mission is over. That was frightening me. There was a hope in me that said, this is a trap. If there is a way out, which is not, because it, like, just to divert a little bit, and not to downplay what people go through when they are depressed, but depression usually has a particular way that it ends. If Christ doesn't solve that thing for you, when you have a kind of problem like that, you want to end it any way possible. But there was a hope in me saying, this may be a trap. If something came to trap me, I want to be the winner. If it's possible that this is a maze and that someone above is looking in this maze, I want them to cheer for me. I don't want to be on the losing side. That's why I would just try a little bit more. That day I came to this conclusion, like, because imagine that I just died now. My father will not make it. He will not live for 5 minutes after that. And if my father goes down, the family is going down. My mother will not be able to survive without him. Like, my mind just did the whole multiply, and I was like, no, it's not about me. I have many people to protect just by being alive.
Yeah.
3rd of December, we sat in the parlor, we sang songs. I could not stop crying. I was in a place that felt like it was lasting forever on that couch. And she told me that, you know something, you cannot control anything. You need to, I think what is trying to tell you, she said what God put on her heart to say to me was that I'm trying to control. I have to breathe because I'm really nothing. I'm not able to look out for myself. I'm not able to control anything. I cannot protect myself. I didn't come this far by myself. I've not been walking, I've been carried. So I need to start paying attention to who is at work. That please recognize that this is not you.
That's why I was having a hard time, but it's all in that.
Put your hands down. And when I heard those words, and she spoke them with a lot of authority, and she said, put your hands down. You think that you are in front, you're on the stage controlling people. Put your hands down, you're nothing. Let it be. Receive care.
I wasn't new.
Yeah, so she told me what God had put on her heart to say to me, and she gave me the Bible, and she told me that
the vitality will get back to you.
the way I'm feeling as if I don't have, I've lost everything, and that's the truth. It's not that I've lost everything, but I really don't have anything. That I should allow myself to be cared for. That is only when I allow myself to be cared for that I would really realize what is in my hands.
Which
that God
department?
loves me.
Sorry.
And so
Claims.
the Bible in my hand and told me that
What
you
kind
know
of
what to
claim?
do.
Is
You're
it?
gonna have to let go. So that evening I gave my life to Christ. It was the first step for me. I really felt as if I had been wrapped up, you know. Yes. If you've had
Okay.
moments
So
of like
that's what
a
the thing is,
spiritual
right?
breakthrough. Then you know that sometimes like you shatter, sometimes it's like something like I feel as if
Accidental?
I had been swaddled. Yes.
Oh, it's coverly, okay.
And
okay,
like
I see.
it's gonna be
Just
fine.
one second.
And there was I felt from that moment a desire to be right and a freedom in it, in such a way that I was not under pressure, for example, to not drink. I was not under pressure to stop drinking. I didn't feel pressure to be a good person, but I felt a desire for it. Like I'm gonna just go at my pace and gently. So if it is lightning speed and everything changes, I'll do just that. And if it's one day at a time, I'll also do just that.
Yeah, I wanted to actually talk about that when you said that when you started singing in church, you felt like you needed to look a certain type of way, but you were also struggling with these characters and these behaviors. And sometimes we as Christians forget that people come to church with their own issues, people come to Christ with a lot of things, and we don't have to put the pressure on them to want. I mean, it's not intentional, but then it's as if, well, because you're in church, you need to look a certain type of way, but we forget that church is for broken people, church is for people who are not whole. So we need to allow people the time and the space really to heal and to find God and to, like I said, I love what you said, that you didn't feel the pressure, but you felt the desire. If you feel the pressure, everything that you do is just because of pressure, and then just the same way you feel the pressure to do the right thing is going to just go like that. But once you have a deeper sense of desire, and then you have a deeper sense of revelation, why I need to do this and do that, and then you're good.
Absolutely, yeah. And feeling that I needed to present myself in a particular way, honestly, I feel like it had nothing to do with people on the outside. I just wanted to keep up the appearance.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a trap, because as opposed to having a desire of being loved and loving God, the devil takes your attention to, let's maintain a picture. If we can maintain this picture here, we can do what we want behind the picture.
Exactly. And you could have actually well maintained that picture for a
Yes.
very long time. And then you think that you were actually
absolutely. I was very willing to. Even while in the choir, I would give we would have choir practice, and after choir practice, maybe everybody would want to go for dinner or something like this. I'm like, I have an appointment. I have somewhere to be, and I would go to where I needed to be. I've been blessed immensely by this, in the sense that I don't speak, when I tell this story right now, I'm not telling a story of I was sick and then God healed me and then I gave my life to Christ after God healed me. It's really not that. It's true, but that's not all of it. The Bible, we seek first the kingdom of God, everything else will come. When you collect from God, it comes with the whole resources of heaven. And so when I turned to face him, then he looked at me and said, "You were only you're feeling empty because you were not looking back at me." And just the look of him lit me up. Just the look of him filled that space in me immediately. Has it taken time for me to manifest, the life, for me to feel everything that Christ wants me to feel? Yes, it has taken a while. I'm still growing in Christ every day. It has taken a while for me to I'm saved. It has taken a while for me to sit here today and tell you, look, honestly, I don't have bitterness in me. I don't have anger in me. I'm able to look at things and let it be. Like, I'm not able to connect with the anger. I have joy. That was something, especially joy, that was something I could not, if they say, who has joy, and they have to look for me, I'll be seated. I won't stand. But those are things that God has graced me to gently, to receive them, to have them manifest in me, because he had given them. Let me not say to receive them, but to actually feel it, If I didn't have, if this whole chain reaction didn't start where I say it started with the accident, I would never have found my way to India, a place where there are 1,000 gods. because people have preached to me before and asked me to give my life to Christ before 100 times. But I would never have made my way to India and met all the amazing people that I met there and given my life to Christ in that place. I would never have taken that nice picture that I took with this girl called Dominic, and she posted it on Facebook. And then my future husband saw it, and he was like, I love that. And he was in Congo, and then he came to India to continue his studies, and then he was in the choir, and then I finally met him, and today we are married. I would never have met this amazing man if I didn't go to India. If I didn't have this accident, there's so much love in my heart that I would never have known, people I wouldn't be here today. I would not have known Christ. I would not have been used by Christ in the way that he has used me immensely. And if you take all my memory away right now and suggest that I go through it again, I will. I'll do it 100 times. If I look at you right now and I'm like, you don't know Christ, you're on the highway to hell. And it's true, some people live a seemingly good life and die and go to hell. But they're like, anyway, when I was here, I had it all. Unfortunately, I've ended up in eternity, which is in an eternal hell. Some people manage to live good life. Some people also go through rubbish in this world and go to hell. So it may be you who would go through the bad side of earth and who will go through what would seemingly be a nicer side of earth with all the luxury. But if you're on the way to hell and to go through it the way I went through it would lead you to heaven, I wish it on everyone. It was rough, but the Lord is our shepherd. You don't have to be aware that you have a shepherd for your shepherd to be your shepherd.
So true.
That's the truth. You don't have to be aware. Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. Before we just end this conversation, the reason I really wanted you to share, like I said in the previous episode, is because I was just very fascinated when you told me initially, and I have been thinking about it, like, this is the God, there's this certain amount of tangibility that your story brings. I don't know how to explain, because I can see you. I didn't read this anywhere. I didn't hear it from another person. I'm looking at it described, and it's just amazing. It's really just amazing. I just really bless God so much for your life. You really have no idea how much I really thank God for putting you in this place to be able to share this and to be able to bless you. Yeah. Before you go, it just actually came to me that I want you to pray for someone who's going through whatever stuff you're going through, someone who's angry, someone who's at this point in their lives where they don't know they have a shepherd, and so they don't know how to connect to that shepherd and receive all the good things that they need to receive from him. But I was also hoping that I could also sing that song that you heard the first day in church, which touched your life. Let me just end it there.
Again, it's the blessing is a walking blessing. If someone says, God bless you, it's as if they've collected me and given the person a blessing. See, you don't have to, if I say I love you, you don't have to, I feel it that I love you and I will do what my love pushes me to do. You will feel, you will receive the result, the outcome, the impact of my love, because it's my love for you. You don't need to love me back right now. You don't even need to be aware that I love you. But if my love for you means you will wake up in the morning, if my love for you means that I will die for you, I don't need your input. How you feel about it is inconsequential. what you're going through will still receive the impact of my love. The only difference is that it's like a child who didn't know the father. But the father is the person taking care of her school fees, sending food to her, doing everything for her. She didn't know. But there's something that happens in her when she becomes aware. Yeah. See, if you're going, whatever it is, if you're going through something right now, whatever that thing can be, it's not happening outside of God. He's aware. He knows. He's looking at you. If you would just turn your face back and look at Him, just believe this, that God has your back. That's the truth. And when you start to look at Him, the more you look at Him, the more you will find Him. We're talking about God who gave His life. He came down on earth and died on the cross to take away all of our sins, to take the curse for our sins, to lift the power of death, of sin and death from us. Took that thing down to the grave, conquered it over there, ended the story when He came back home. It begins with believing. Believe in your heart. Say this thing with your mouth, that Christ, you actually died for me. You actually give the final word on the cross for me. Just let go. You asked me to pray. I pray right now in the name of Jesus. Because God, you are our shepherd. You are His shepherd. You are her shepherd. You are our shepherd. You are our Father. And so we shall not want. Father, even when we are walking through the valley of the shadow of death, we will fear no evil because you are with us. Heavenly Father, there may be someone, there is someone right there right now listening to this who needs you desperately, Lord. Father, show them what you have shown to me. Show them your face of mercy. Show them your face that is full of love. Show them that it's happening in your hands and that you are the one carrying them, and that you are the one who has the final word. That you do what you alone can do. Do what you alone always does. But I remove the scales from their eyes so that they can actually look and see your glory. I thank you for this opportunity. I thank you for this opportunity to be used again. To be used again to touch the lives of some other people. To be used again to touch the life of even one person out there. Because it is your pleasing, it is your goodwill. You want more people. You want that one person to look you back in the face. God is good. God is your Father. He's your Father. If your own Father will give you fish, He will not give you a snake. He will give you fish when you ask for food. What more of the King of Kings? The more I seek you,